Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Quarter Life Crisis. This is Max. In this video, I'd like to chat about understanding. In my opinion, understanding is a key to achievements. And to be more specific, this is not about understanding other people's situation or feelings like empathy. This is about understanding the complexity of a multi-layered challenge or a big system. In both work and life, I frequently feel pressure when I run into something challenging. Especially at the beginning, I feel at a loss that I worry too much about how to act and proceed. Over time, I have realized that this is a very common issue and there's no perfect answer to it. However, after I put some thought to it, I think there might be a first general step that we can take, which is to enhance our comprehension of a task or situation. And as we understand it better, we become clearer of what action items that the task requires. And this gives us a better sense of control, hence more confidence. As we are more aware of the internal logic of what we are working on, our worry and pressure decrease. Think about those successful people that we look at who talk casually in every forum and conference. They either have amazing achievements or insightful thoughts. And it is all because they have a very deep understanding of the topic they are talking about. That said, we don't have to admire, when we ourselves reach that levels of understanding, it will no longer be a hard thing for us to do as well. Let me share my own experience at work. I myself am not someone who has extraordinary powers of understanding. When I started my career as a software engineer, I found it very hard to tackle certain problems at work. Even just discussing them with my teammates or reading some materials like technical docs about them were challenging for me. Frankly speaking, I didn't know how to understand them. Back then, I experienced very heavy imposter syndrome. And worse, I felt that what I couldn't understand was actually very easy for others to grasp. But I still tried my best. With a lot of help from other teammates and some luck, I nailed some projects, which proved to be a great contribution to the team as well. But later on, when colleagues from other teams became interested in the projects that I had been working on, as a personal contact, I found myself not able to answer those questions, those deep questions. I realized that my understanding of these projects was not profound enough. In other words, I just delivered them without fully understanding them. And even worse, due to my shallow comprehension, I ran into the same kind of problems as before, which then leads to some unnecessary hard time in my future projects. After a while, I decided to make some changes. I reviewed the previous projects, the documents, the links, just to think deeper. To my surprise, I was able to gain more insights every time I looked back. With those insights, I felt more confident and capable of tackling harder problems. Not only at work, but in life, we face the same issue. Nowadays, when we open the browsers, there are a deluge of news over the internet every day. When we check out the social media, there are countless articles posted, and a lot of those are not very easy to understand. Medicines, finance, Bitcoin, or some other techniques. To understand those, we actually need a lot of context. As we want to catch up with the world, we read as much as we can. However, it turns out to be a pure waste of time, since we cannot understand. Another example would be to learn another language. When you are listening to the material in a foreign language that you are studying, sometimes you feel you hear everything, but actually you hear nothing. You just cannot get the idea. More than often, this happens when you cannot read the material itself. In other words, you don't understand the topic at all. So sometimes when we are learning another language, instead of the language itself, we should get ourselves more familiar with the content of the material, the stories, or the culture behind. And all of this, at the end, boils down to understanding. Next, I'd like to talk about how I think we can actually enhance our understanding. First of all, we have to admit that this is not an easy task. In my experience, a useful trick is trying to rethink about the complicated things that you have done before, such as your previous working projects or some difficult tasks that you experienced in your life. Usually, complicated things mean to have many details involved, and we'd benefit a lot from revisiting some of those every now and then, just to help our brain connect those individual nodes. Other than our previous experience, if time and energy permit, we also need to get as much new information as we can. We can either read more books or talk to others. The purpose is to train our brain to understand the new information faster. In my opinion, understanding has two directions, horizontal and vertical. Horizontal understanding means that when we try to understand something, we find the other things that share similarity with it, so that we can try to connect the new thing with the old ones to gain comprehension through the connection. Vertical understanding means that there's a chain of things that we need to keep in mind, and to understand something, we need to be aware of the cause and effect of that thing. To be more concrete, for example, if we need to design a project at work from a vertical thinking perspective, this project can be split into 3 parts. The reason of doing this, how to do this, and what the consequences after this. We need to justify each part so that we get support from other people. Here comes the horizontal thinking. For each above-mentioned part, we need to enrich their content by finding relevant items. For the reason part, we need to figure out all the valid reasons, like A, B, C, and prioritize them so that we decide A is more critical than B and C. For the execution part, we should think about all different ways to deliver the project, say DEF, and we need to set a preference of which way is the best, and illustrate why it's the best. Same for the consequences part, how many pieces of effect this could cause, say JHI, then why the good outcome J is helping us, and why the side effect J and I are acceptable. I believe there are thousands of hard things like designing a project or delivering a project in our daily life. Here, I encourage everyone, next time when you feel pressed about some uncertainty, don't panic. Try to understand it. Once you share the thinking journey, your brain will surprise you. Okay, thanks so much for watching to the end. I'm Max. See you next time.